Good evening and welcome to the day of the week of the year we've been waiting for. Seems like forever, but we're on it now. It's here and it's going to be an exciting week. What a kickoff to start this season. The one we've been waiting for with all the playoff teams, the 16-team SEC, and it's just going to be grand. So stand by tonight, folks. We got a great show for you. The QB himself, Shane Matthews, is in the house. We're going to hear from Dr. Pete Indelicato about high ankle sprains, and Franz Beard, the Iron Duke, is back, and he's always got good stuff to say. And I've got an announcement to make. You know, won't hear about this. This is just got this from Freddie Weeby. I'm coming to you after this. I'm going to tell you something big is happening on October 18th. So mark it down. I'll tell you in just a minute. Stand by, because it's time again for Buddy Martin and the Buddy Martin Show, as we'd like to do 4 nights a week, sometimes 5, right here on this channel.
For Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah. It's football season for real, finally. Did you wake up this morning feeling like it was Christmas and you were a kid? That's because it's underway. Terrific game over the weekend. Sorry about that, Knowles. I got to say it softly around there because I have people in my house who actually are Knowles. But, hey, it was a heck of a football game and a great win for Georgia Tech. So congratulations to all you rambling wrecks who've been waiting all these years, 15 straight losses to ranked teams. And so it was a great game, too. Fun to watch. I don't care whose side you were on. It was terrific. So on the program tonight, we'll talk about a lot of stuff going on with the team, all the rankings, the ratings, the picks. How in the world do the handicappers make this a 2.5-point game in favor of Miami? Hey, this is the swamp, man. Come on. I know Shane Matthews is not happy about it. I already showed today. Let's just go right to the QB1 himself. His shirt is backwards for some reason. Why is that? I don't know. Shane, good evening to you. And I know it's the week we've been waiting for. We get to talk about some games, man.
Yeah, it's about time. I'm excited. It was fun to watch some college football this past weekend, and now we get to watch it live Saturday afternoon.
Do we ever? We got a bonanza of a schedule. I heard you and JC talking about it this morning, and of course we got the early game, Clemson, Georgia, and we've got the Florida game, Florida, Miami, and then the afternoon game is we got Notre Dame in there. Anyway, I got the schedule in front of me somewhere. It's going to be wonderful. And I got a little bulletin for you, Shane. We've talked about this before, and it's something I think a lot of the fans want, and it just comes from Freddie Weeby. Just fired it off to him from William Feinberg. You know Pizza Bill, right? Okay, guys, here is the deal finally. Mark your calendar for October 18th and 19th. I got official word today from UAA. And here's the quote: in celebration of the 40th anniversary of the 1984 Gators football team, we're inviting the 84 team back, alumni back to the swamp for the homecoming game October 19th. Details are being planned. We're looking to begin sharing information with everyone on this 84 team this week. Please look in your email for additional mail tomorrow or Wednesday. One side note, 1984 team in Gator Charity Golf Alley, a team evening reunion to get together. We probably Friday the 8th, October 19th. So Shane, this is kind of one of those things we want to right the wrong a bit. The players who played on that team didn't have anything to do with that. And it was unfortunate that that they had to have that thing. That was a really good team. They were ranked. They won that national championship, Shane. You know that? They won the New York Times national championship that year.
Yeah.
They got to get away from it.
I've been hoping this would happen for a long time, and it's great that it's going to happen. I know several people that played on that team. I wasn't obviously teammates of them, but got to know them over the years, and there's a lot of them that have bad taste in their mouth about the Gators. So hopefully this can, time heals everything supposedly. Yeah. So maybe this will help.
Yeah, for sure. And I think everybody needs to be healed up on this deal because it's going to take everybody pulling in the same direction, Shane, to make this happen. And I know you feel, and I feel that we feel pretty strong. There's an upset in the making. And I didn't realize this till I heard it on your show that every underdog won over the weekend.
No, they covered the point spread.
Yeah. So
I don't know what's going to happen. I predicted Georgia Tech to win the game on my show last week.
Yeah.
Because they are like, if I remember correctly, they were 6-2 in their last 8 games they played, and the only 2 losses were to Clemson and Georgia. And I didn't think Florida State was a very good team last year.
You've been saying it the whole year. You've been saying
even with Jordan Travis. I mean, he was a really good college player, and obviously made their team go. And they had some other good talented guys, but I could not figure out why in the world anybody ranked them top 10. Now look, there's a lot of football. They got a lot of games. If they win the ACC, they automatically get in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That could happen, but they did not even look like a top 40 team to me.
It was a really well coached game, and that offensive coordinator is now suddenly in everybody's list. He's been getting some phone calls, I'm sure, and good for Tech. They've been down for a long time, and I know it hurts FSU fans, and I'm married to one. Sorry about that, but the fact is, it was Georgia Tech's turn.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated the football game, both lines of scrimmage. And, Florida State, with all these rankings and publications, we're supposed to have the top defensive line in America. Well, they ain't like the top defensive line to me.
So you wonder about these so-called experts that make these picks, and then you look at Miami. I mean, they may look good on the hoof. They may be very good, and certainly their quarterback is certainly getting a lot of attention. But he hadn't got exactly set the world on fire. Let's see what he's got, Cam Ward. He comes highly recommended. But if you start, are you going to let bots pick your games? You know what bots are, Shane?
Little
things on the computer that actually think for you, make your decisions. Okay. And are you going to listen to the bots who are picking this game because they got it wrong against FSU? And somehow, maybe it's wishful thinking, it feels that way about this game, Shane, because what are they basing it on?
Oh, I don't have any idea. I looked at Twitter today a little bit, try to see what was going on in the sports world, and I saw a lot of people. These are people, not just regular Twitter people. These are like celebrities or analysts is the word. I didn't see one person pick Miami.
Yeah, and you read the stat that I had in my column over the weekend. I think JC read it. That ESPN gives Florida a 57% chance of winning the football game, and yet they're underdogs.
It didn't make much sense. I feel very confident we're going to win the football game.
And then we'll see. By the way, just for folks who are not old like me and don't know this, the fact is that Georgia Tech was a member of the SEC. Their coach was very famous, Bobby Dodd, Bobby Dodd's son came to Florida and played for Ray Graves. And Bobby Dodd helped Florida beat Georgia Tech in one of the biggest upsets ever in Gainesville in the 1960. And Tech was a standard bearer for many years. They were always right up there. They were right in the SEC. And so I think Bobby Dodd, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He was a heck of a coach, and Tech had a great program. They're one of the top teams in the country. And yeah, it's changed since they moved on to the other league. So a lot of comments tonight, including the one of Michael Burton. Bobby Dodd's record was very good. And by the way, you know who coached here before him? At Tech?
Coach where?
Georgia Tech.
It's probably John Heisman.
Bingo. You got a big guy, John Heisman. And so anyway, a lot of great I've covered some of those games. So, yeah. All right. So Shane, let me get to a couple of points I want to get you. Let me get my notes out here and ask you. I'm like you in the morning when you can't find your stuff. All right. Do you remember an opening day like this before with team games like this? I mean, you got Florida, Miami, Clemson, Georgia, Penn State, West Virginia, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and USC and LSU on Monday. I mean, that's a bonanza right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good weekend. I'm excited to watch some of the Georgia Clemson game before ours. Then get home and watch A&M and Notre Dame. And then I think it's Sunday is LSU, USC, and Florida State plays Boston College.
Somebody help us out here. I thought
Florida State and Boston College play on Monday.
Okay. Okay. Well, you would know that. I'm not good at schedules. I know you think Miami, Florida is the biggest opener in history, and I can't necessarily say it isn't, but I don't feel it isn't. And I guess we should define this because it's not necessarily the biggest game. If you take the most anticipated game, it probably is. But the Florida-Houston game in '69, Super Sauce, was an unbelievable result. And did you know Florida's played 4 ranked teams on opening day? Can you name them by any chance?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, you do. You played against one of them.
I did?
Yeah.
No. I don't know I'm an opener.
Oklahoma State wasn't your opener?
Yeah, but they weren't ranked.
They were ranked according to what I read today. So
they were?
Yeah, that's what I was read, man. Unless I got it wrong. So
I didn't realize that.
Utah in 2022, right?
Oh, that's right. They were ranked number 7 in America.
Houston 69 to won Super Sauce. Miami 1982, and according to what I read, Oklahoma State 1990. Now
maybe they were. I didn't realize that.
Somebody can correct it for me if I got the wrong information. So anyway, so that's yeah. And they, by the way, they're 3-0 against in not counting the last one. So they won these opening day games quite well. You guys kill Oklahoma State 50-7, Shane. 50-7, unbelievable. And that's when they knew they had something special. You guys knew you had it going on. All right. So you mentioned this today, and I'm going to bring it up. The recruiting. We don't follow it closely, but even we know about the 4-star commit from Miami Central, Nashawn Montgomery. And he's apparently the real deal. But did you see how he arrived?
Arrived where?
The video when he came to Florida.
No, I didn't see it.
Shane, you're not going to like it.
Probably not.
A black Mercedes, 2 dudes get out of the front seat, body men, open the door for him. He gets out with his gold chain on. I don't think it's the Shane Matthews kind of game, kind of opening you would like. Now, I guess maybe that's how they do it today. We're going to have a hard time accepting it. But I'm going to ask you, did you folks see that video? I'm not knocking the kid. He may be a great kid. This is just the way they do it. Of course, I'm not a big fan of putting the hats on the table either for recruiting. But apparently, this guy is the real deal. 4-star. I think he's ranked as a 3 by some. He chose Florida over Alabama, Florida State, LSU, Oregon, and Penn State. And Billy Gonzalez had a big hand in it. He was the guy who he knew that Billy could get him ready for the NFL. And he said, here's a quote: "I like how they develop receivers," Montgomery said. "Coach Billy Gonzalez, Coach Billy Napier, and the rest of the coaching staff know what to do with receivers. They do a great job of developing players, and that was the main thing I cared about." The other thing, by the way, was they all talk about is the family atmosphere, which you hear a lot. So that moved them up 2 spots through number 19 on 3's team ranking. So it looks like something going on, Shane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he agrees with everything he said, but I'm sure he's getting paid a lot of money too.
Well,
That's
no,
all money now.
I understand. I'm just saying, look, what I love about Georgia Tech, you didn't hear a whole lot about NIL deals, did you? And so I think we're going to find out.
We don't know. I mean, I do know that Georgia Tech has a lot of money, buddy.
I didn't say they didn't get it, but we didn't hear a lot about it.
No, you didn't. But that's reality today in
Yeah,
football.
I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong. I'm in favor of the players getting money. Okay, no, you know that. I'm in favor of it. But when you flaunt it, it turns a lot of people off. And here's the deal: you better perform, because now when you're professional, which what you are, people will come after you. It will happen. You can get you don't want to have half the swamp on your back, right? Anyway, that was just something that I thought of at the time, and I don't knock the kid for making money, but boy, they're getting some decent receivers in there. They got Joshua Moore and Vernell Brown, so that class is shaping up. Montgomery's a 3-star recruit by 247 and owned 3, but both ESPN and Rivals grant him 4-star status. Both major composite rankings grade him as 4-star as well. So that's it. Nashon Montgomery is the man, number 58 overall. Here's something, the blue chip index. I don't talk about it much, but Rob Brown on our show talks about it a lot. Florida is very high in the blue chip index, meaning number of 4 and 3 stars they've got in their program. Here's one. ESPN has ranked Gator freshman L.J. McCray as one of the top 100 newcomers in college football. And Tyreek Sapp said of him, he doesn't need a scheme to actually affect the game. He said he can affect the game just by being him. Pretty good right there. So, all right, Shane, did you ever have a high ankle sprain?
Yeah.
They say it's one of the most painful things to have in any injury. Was yours?
Yeah, I mean, I did it the same play. I tore my meniscus I had a high ankle sprain on the left foot with a torn meniscus on the right knee in the same play. Played a whole game. And then I had surgery on my knee and just rehabbed the high ankle sprain and played in the Sugar Bowl.
Okay. How painful was it?
Yeah. I mean, I think I got shot up, so I didn't feel any pain. I can't remember.
But you had to walk on it the next day too. So
yeah, I mean, that was a long time ago, buddy. I can't remember. Who's got a high ankle sprain?
You didn't necessarily. They called it severe ankle sprain back then, according to Pete Indelicato. They didn't call it a high ankle sprain.
Does somebody have one?
No, Dr. Pete is doing the pieces for us on Gator Bait, and he just picked that as a subject today. I said, "What's the most famous high ankle sprain?" He says, I can't think of one in Florida. I'm sure our listeners will, though, for sure. So, yeah. Larry Gross says Montgomery has very nice hands. He attacks the ball. I like him. Let's see what else he says here. Yeah. Michael Burns, I don't think you all realized it because you were in the middle of the media or playing, but 1990 opening game was big. Everyone is excited because of SOS Grassfield and the offense is coming. Yeah, I know that. Michael, and you know it too, Shane. I remember when I can tell you what he said at his opening press conference when he was hired.
Yeah, but I don't think it was anywhere near as important as this game.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And it wasn't, but still, it was a ranked team. But here's the thing. He said, what are the three things he said when he got to be head coach? I'm going to do three things. I'm going to go natural grass, blue jerseys, and get Miami on the schedule.
And I wish they would bring back the real blue jerseys.
Those are not the real ones?
No, they changed our color. Nike changed our color. We have the same color blue as Kentucky and Boise State because they're so damn lazy. They just want to produce the same jerseys and just put different stripes and numbers on them.
Wow.
If you look at the jerseys that Coach Spurrier brought, it's a darker royal blue than what we wear now.
Yeah. Larry Gross says surgeons told me, granted a while back, it takes 6 months for an ankle sprain to heal up at the microscopic level. So Clint says he wants the blue helmets. What do you think?
I mean, I'm a traditionalist. I'm a blue jersey, white pant, all white uniform is what I prefer. But they switch it up.
I like the white jerseys and the orange helmets and orange pants too.
Yeah, well, they're not wearing that this year at all.
I like it. Doesn't make you feel like it. It's big games in that. All right, so let me stop and tell you right now. By the way, Franz had an excellent column. He'll be on later. 1990 to 2010. Do you have any idea how good Florida's record was during then, and what do you think it was? Think about that. Well, I tell you about
2010.
Hold on a second. I'm going to do a commercial. Everybody think about it. We come back for that decade. Yes, I want to tell them about our good friends at Meldon Law. We'll be hearing. We got a whole recorded segment for Jeffrey. We're going to play it here later this week. Jeffrey's back. He's got all kind of ideas. His commercials you'll be seeing soon. He, of course, is 100% behind the Gators in every way. If you check his website at Meldon Law this fall, you got a chance to pick up some real good stuff, including tickets, and they're in basketball too. So be sure and check that out. Of course, if you're interested in law and some kind of court case, which I was recently, the guy to call is Jeffrey Meldon, and that's who I called. He got right on it. And so Meldon Law can present you with some options that you may think you have. They have a new office location in Williston. They have Williston, Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City now. They're all about getting you the right lawyer and giving you help and helping your neighbors. So check them out. Meldon Law. They won't back down. All right, Shane. 1990 to 2010, according to Franz Beard, Florida had.
I'm gonna guess our record. I have no idea. I'm gonna go 185 wins, 27 losses.
Pretty good, but it's not. It's better than that.
Is it?
210, 57-1, with 8 SEC conference championships and 3 national.
How many losses?
57.
Oh, I only said 27. Mine was better than that.
More.
I didn't have enough games. I did a bad job of adding. I can't remember when we went to. I only played 11 games a year.
I know.
Now they play 12 and a lot more.
Yeah. 16. How many ever? How many with the team that plays all the way through the championship wind up playing, Shane?
I think about 16, probably 15.
16. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. So,
I guess it depends on if you get a bye or what have you.
I guess. Yeah. So Clint Clements says, Shane, are you and Coach Spurrier doing your Inside the Huddle tomorrow?
Yes, it is going to be on Tuesdays. I will not be there tomorrow. I have to be out of town for some stuff, but I'll be there the rest of the week. The rest of the year with Coach and Steve.
What I'm excited about is our new Gator bait shirts for our staff. I have this guy that knows somebody, and we've ordered them, who's assured me we'll have them in time for the Miami game.
As long as that company,
Now
as long as that company with that logo on them has them all shipped when they're supposed to. So, but you should have them.
I know you can't do much about it either. You got to be
that one company is not very reliable.
Well, it's funny. Like I was ordering something today. I needed to have it by Thursday when I leave here to go to Gainesville, and I ordered it from Amazon. And I've ordered many, many things from Amazon. Invariably, when I need them that day, they went, "Whoops, we can't get it till the next day." Yeah. I'm gone. What can they do me by then? Oh, it just drives me nuts. Anyway, I'm not going to complain. You know why? I'm really happy. Really, really, really happy about football season being here. One more note from Franz. Since the 2011 season, Gators are 98-66, the 39th best record in college football. From 1980 through 2012, Gators didn't record a single losing season. How about that? Since 2013, they've gone belly up 5 times, including the last 3. Well, it's hard to imagine this is the same team, isn't it? A team that was so good and so dominant could have fallen off that much.
Yeah, it happened for whatever reason. I have a lot of thoughts on why, but it doesn't do us any good to even worry about that now. Can't worry about what happened last year, 2 years ago, or 20 years ago. All that matters is moving forward.
All right, Freddie Weavy's gotten in the trivia business here, and he threw a trivia question at me. Let's see if we can figure it out. Speaking of Bobby Dodd, here is some trivia for you. This is unscheduled, by the way. What is the commonality between Bobby Dodd and Steve Spurrier?
I think they're the 2 of the only coaches and players that are in the College Football Hall of Fame, would be my guess.
I think you might be right. As coach and player?
Yeah.
Bobby Dodd was about 23 when he played for Tennessee. Did you know he kicked the winning he blocked the extra point when Florida lost in 1928 to Tech to go to the Rose Bowl, and Tech got to go to the Rose Bowl? That Bobby Dodd blocked that kick. Amazing. I read that in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in the archives. So, all right. Shane McMurton's looking forward to Shane and Sean on the radio. What's that? Tell us about that. You working out? Are you planning anything special, or you guys rehearse? What do you do?
No. I talked to Sean the other day briefly at one of the practices. I guess that was at the scrimmage last Saturday, and I'll see him in the press box about 40 minutes before kickoff, and we'll roll.
You don't rehearse anything at all?
No. I mean, there's nothing to rehearse, really, because, I'm sure he has a lot more. All I have to do is paint the picture for the people that aren't watching on TV. And a lot of people are watching on TV and just listening to us. So I just have to repeat what just happened. So it's easy to be the color analyst, buddy. And I like doing it.
I hope it's good and easy to be good at it. It might be easier to be one. And listen, Shane, you must have listened to a lot of radio as a kid. WWL in New Orleans and all whatever at night time. All your games weren't on TV.
No, no. We grew up. If I wasn't at the Ole Miss game, I did listen to a lot of Ole Miss basketball because we didn't go to a lot of those games. We went to the Ole Miss football games.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite voice growing up as a kid was Jack Crystal from Mississippi State, even though I hated Mississippi State. I just thought his voice is just so cool. And then John Ward, living in North Mississippi, you got a lot of Tennessee games. So John Ward from Tennessee, I liked his voice as well.
I remember so many great occasions of listening to radio at nighttime. People don't understand when you're old like Franz and I, and Franz is going to be on in a minute. We only got one game a week. That was it on TV. And it was nothing more thrilling than to be down in a small town, you turn on your AM radio and pick up station in Atlanta carrying the games, Georgia games, station in New Orleans carrying LSU games. Those great commentators. They were fantastic. So, by the way,
Yeah.
Freddie Media says you're correct. You got the right answer.
Yeah, I living in North Mississippi as a kid, big St. Louis Cardinals because the Memphis
KMX. Yeah.
Memphis was the what the heck were they called? The Memphis Sound, I think, were the farm league for the
Memphis
Cardinals.
Chicks, right? Weren't they? No, that was Atlanta Chicks.
So it was Jack Buck.
Yeah.
That I always listened to on the radio.
Yeah, I just, Larry Gross's transistor radio was epic. I'll tell you, what I had to do was I had to climb up in a tree and put an antenna. My dad told me to do that in Australian pines and heist it up the tree. And on a good day, I could hear KMOX and Harry Carey, who was the Cardinals broadcaster. And of course, it was such a war. You had to have imagination listening to radio. It was so much fun. And I'll tell you the truth, when I finally was able to see the games on TV, I thought I liked it better when Harry Carey was exaggerated about these guys, as opposed to seeing the real guys. So good stuff there. So let's bring Franz on for a second. I want to tell the folks about one of our sponsors, Titan MRI, who does a terrific job. If you need an MRI, Shane, how many MRIs did you have in your life?
Oh God, a lot. And I haven't had one recently, probably in the last 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
I think Joe at Titan MRI has the ones that are open, I believe, where you feel comfortable in them. And everyone I was in a tube, and it freaks me out. I have to put like sunglasses on, cover my eyes, and put my ear pods, or I'd make them give me headsets because it's like being in a coffin, basically.
It is, and I've had probably 8 or 10 of them in my time. And when you get a little older and a little bigger, like Franz and me, it really gets difficult to get inside that little cube.
Yeah,
and go through
I think Joe has those. My son went to them a couple of times when he was playing in high school, but I think they're the open ones where they're you're not in a tube.
Yeah, they do take into consideration your claustrophobia because that's what you get when you get in there. And I want to remind folks, if you need an MRI, check them out because they do a great job for you. They will be able to give you a custom-made appointment. If you can't go during work hours a week, they'll give it to you at night or the weekends, making it easy for you when you have to have an MRI. I encourage you to check them out. If you don't have insurance, they'll take cash or card. They're less than what you would think. So check them out, TitanMRI.com. And I'm going to bring Franz on. There he is. And I've got Mike McGinnis waiting in the wings because we're going to talk about the quarterback club. Francis, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Shane, got your game face on. I can tell you're just beyond excited. I can tell just by the look on your face.
Oh, I'm ready to get it rolling. I'm excited for this football team. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited about the schedule. I think this team has a chance to have a really good year. I saw Coach that earlier today. I think he said he thinks they're going to win 8 or 9 games.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. One of the things that I always liked about you when you played confidently. And I don't think there is any I think if you don't have a confident quarterback, you're not going to do really well. And quarterbacks have so many decisions they have to make that if they're not confident about their decisions, the whole team's going to have problems. Graham Mertz is one of the more confident quarterbacks I've seen the Gators have. Certainly, he's the most confident quarterback they've had since Tebow, I would say. More so even than Kyle Trask.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to have a heck of a year. I get the question on a daily basis, how much do I think DJ is going to play? I don't know if he'll play at all in this game. I think he'll play next week against Sanford, but I'll be surprised if he plays in this game. But again, the entire season is going to come down to the front seven on defense.
Well, also, guys, what's really going to come into play is health. Because in the back half of the season, when you get banged on all season by these dudes from other SEC schools, and you don't get any relief, your bodies get beat up.
Yeah.
And if you're in better condition and you're not hurt, you got a chance. But you lose 4 or 5 guys and you're in trouble. And one of the things that they lose them to are high ankle sprains. All right. Franz, you know what a high ankle sprain is?
I've had one I know quite well.
Uh-huh. And you know who knows a lot more than you?
Who's that?
This guy right here. Hold on. This guy right here, Dr. Pete Indelicato. All right. Welcome to the show, Pete. How you doing?
Good. How are you, buddy? Franz?
Good. How many times did you have to put Shane back together? Very many times?
Not enough times.
Well, that's why he forgot. He didn't sew everything up. That's why stuff is hurting right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's talked me through plantar fasciitis 3 times. I know that.
Yeah. Dr. Pete has affected everybody one way or the other, for sure. I want to talk about one of your special guys real quick. That's Scott Brantley, that was very dear to Franz and I as well. And I know you. And I know he's had some tough days. And our thoughts and prayers will go out to he and Mary. And he's just a special person. Have you ever seen anybody tougher than Scott, Dr. Pete?
No, he ranks up there with tough. He's a special guy, tough. I love him. He's like a member of the family.
Yeah, he's also a very loving guy. He'll hug your neck for sure. All right, so Pete, thanks. We got a piece coming tomorrow on high ankle sprains. Now, Shane has told me he had one at one point in time. Of course, Pete told me they called them the severe ankle sprains back then, not high. I'll let him explain that. And so, Doc, in your piece, you talk about that. Explain the surgery of some kind you can take on this. You're writing this piece. Tell me about it.
Buddy, I'll see you in the morning.
You got to go?
I got to go. I got things to do. I got to go to bed early. I got to get up very early. Dr. Pete?
Get your milk and cookies.
I will. You guys have a good night.
All right, see you. All right, so Shane's ducking out on us. That's all right. I'll get him back tomorrow. So we'll continue on, Dr. Pete.
Yeah, so years ago, we used to call them severe ankle sprains. But as we've studied and learned more about the biomechanics of the ankle and the ligaments that basically hold your foot to your lower leg, we realize there's ligaments right above the ankle joint that are at risk, particularly if you twist your foot out, so to speak, and these ligaments get damaged. And they're very, very important, very strong ligaments. So when they get injured, the ankle becomes at risk for instability and weakness and things like that. So high ankle sprains they've been around forever, but the term is relatively new.
All right, so do we know why there were so many more of them, or was it just the fact that they had them and didn't know what they were? It seemed like they started popping up a lot the last 15 years or so.
That's a great question. It may be because the type of shoe that they wear now, very few, if any, shoes have called high top shoes. The old ones, they would lace up above the ankle joint, and those at least afforded some protection against high ankle sprains back then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's, they've always been around, but I think they may be more frequent now because of the style of shoe that's popular.
Right. Friends, I asked Dr. Pete this. You may have a better idea. What's the most famous high ankle sprain you can think of in Florida?
Percy Harvin.
Okay. That was after
That's
Dr.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a better memory than I do, Franz. That's right. Right before the, I guess we're getting ready for the SEC championship game, right? In Atlanta.
Yes, indeed.
And
he missed that game.
Yep. Despite a lot of valiant efforts by the training staff, the medical staff, we thought we were able or would be able to get him out ready to go, but he couldn't do the things that he needed to do well enough to where it was safe to put him out there.
If I remember, Dr. Pete, he could run straight ahead when pregame before Alabama. He could run straight ahead, but he tried just very simple this, and he said can't do it.
Can't do it. Right. Yeah, it's not so much running straight ahead. It's planting your foot and cutting off that foot and ankle that really stresses those ligaments I mentioned earlier. And if they're not healthy, no matter how tough you are, the pain is just too much to accept, and you sort of give into it.
Why, Dr. Pete, does it take so long for a high ankle sprain to heal? Because I know guys who have missed half an NFL season with one and 20, 30 games in the NBA because of a high ankle sprain. Why does it take so much more time for a high ankle sprain to heal than a regular sprain?
Well, because those ligaments are very, very strong, and when they tear, it takes a long time for the strength of those ligaments to reconstitute themselves. So that's why it takes so long. If you don't operate on them, if they're completely torn, now we're a lot smarter. We get MRIs. We see that those ligaments are significantly damaged, and basically there's a procedure. It's called a tightrope. It's basically a very strong suture that gets placed across the top of the ankle where those ligaments are, and helps support them while they heal. So the recovery is a lot shorter because you can be a lot more aggressive after the surgery than you could without it.
Was that performed on Percy, or was that even an option at that point in time to get him ready for Oklahoma? Because I know in the Oklahoma game, he said that he was maybe 85% at Oklahoma. And when I told that to an Oklahoma friend of mine, he just about passed out. He said if he'd been 100%, he said we'd have lost by 30.
Yeah. Yeah, that procedure that you referred to was not around, whatever it was, 10, 12 years ago. So it really became popular about maybe 5, 6 years ago. The quarterback from Alabama, Tua, he had a high ankle sprain, and he underwent that tightrope procedure. And, he came back in a very short period of time. And the fact that somebody that famous got the surgery became sort of a great advantage for everybody following that injury to take advantage of.
All right, great stuff, Dr. Pete. I sure appreciate it very much. Your piece runs tomorrow on the high ankle sprain. We'll learn more and more about this as we go. And I know we talked about the injury to Montreal, but I don't know, not the injury but the one, something similar. And you explained last week when we talked about how the rehab was so important. And I believe you said everybody's different when they can come back. And it's important that they get the full time to heal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're learning so much more about injuries and actually the psychology that one has to deal with following an injury, and how important it is to pay attention to that part of the problem more so now than we ever used to years ago. So it's not so much, although being tough is certainly important, but it's not just the only important thing. There are other factors at play that allows one or supports one to go back and play following an injury or an illness, actually.
Let me ask one more question of you before you go, Dr. Pete, if you don't mind.
We have somebody waiting in the wings. Go ahead.
Okay. Is it, you hear people hear this talk about some guys having what's called loose ankles and some guys having tight ankles. Is there, I don't know enough about, I leave doctoring to you. You leave sports writing to me, which is why we've always been friends. But what is it? What's the difference between the two? And is one more conducive to sprained ankles and high ankle sprains than the other?
Well, actually, somebody with so-called loose ankles has probably more elasticity in their ligaments around their ankle and makes them less likely to tear because it's like a rubber band that'll stretch more without damaging if they're loose jointed. But there's a point where even those type of ligaments get damaged.
I see Mike McGinnis looking at his watch, so we got to go. Thanks, Dr. Pete. Great stuff. Don't forget to read about it. Read tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good one. Thanks, Dr. Pete Indelicato. And now back from there to the joy of football, which we get to go with our friends and celebrate and talk about our teams. Where else better to do that than the Ocala Quarterback Club? And here with me tonight, up past his bedtime, is Mike McGinnis, the president, the captain, I should say, of the Ocala Quarterback Club. Gave it to you, Mike.
Hey, buddy. Can you hear me okay?
I've got you. Yeah, you're a little bit behind on your Wi-Fi, but go ahead and talk.
I'm on my phone and I've got an issue with it. I've got to get it checked out tomorrow. I've got a schedule to take care of it, and I was a little bit reluctant. And I went ahead and hooked up with you on the phone. I want to thank you for the invitation. I was enjoying hearing Dr. Pete again. He knows his stuff. We've had him speak with us a couple of times at the quarterback club and inform us on different injuries and things, and like rotator cuffs and things. And as far as baseball goes, very, very good.
Well, you do a great job at the Ocala Quarterback Club. Franz knows he's been there many times. And, of course, it's one of the oldest quarterback clubs in the state. And Mike and all the guys out there have done a fantastic job of keeping it going when other quarterback clubs are dying off. And one of the great things I love about it is the Scott Brantley Trophy, which they give every year to a deserving high school senior. So we look for that. Tell folks, if you can, in the limited time we have because of your phone and whatever, so we get you out of here, about how they get information on the Ocala Quarterback Club, when you meet, how you join, etc.
There's a couple of ways. One, you can contact me directly, but the guy that's got most of the information is Wes Wheeler in town. Of course, I'd have to give you his cell phone number and his email address, but any quarterback club member, any board member can give you an opportunity to come and join us. I'll tell you this, the best thing to do is to show up Wednesday night is our kickoff. And we won't have a speaker that night, but we'll give the information. You get an opportunity to join. We'll have light hors d'oeuvres. We won't have a big meal. Won't have a speaker, but we're going to tell all that are in attendance what all's going on through the year. We'll list our speakers. We'll talk about the Brantley Trophy, which you initiated, and we're proud to give each year to a deserving high school player. And like I said, it's interesting to hear Dr. Pete. I'm talking to you. You've spoken to the club before. You're a member of our board. Franz is on here. He's spoken to our group. I heard Shane earlier, and he's left you here just recently, but he's on our speaker schedule this year. So we're going to have 10 really good speakers. I like what our lineup is brought together, and none have not been with us before. And hopefully they'll our membership will show them some interest or will be interested in what they have to say. But as far as joining goes, the best thing to do would be show up at the Elks Lodge, 6 o'clock on Wednesday night for our kickoff. Talk to one of our members. And lastly, the Ocala Quarterback Club has a Facebook page and has information on there with our speakers and when we meet and various things such as that. And that'll give them an opportunity to come and join us as well. And by the way, even though we're located in proximity to the University of Florida, we want to make sure that people know that this is a football club, not a Gator club. We've got guys from other schools and fans from other schools that are members of our quarterback club. Although we're very highly, maybe 98% of us are Gators, we still are not a Gator club, just a avid football club.
And a great one.
Nobody seems to mind it when I tell jokes about the other schools.
Yeah, I got to go before Fran starts telling jokes, okay? And I will also be there hopefully next Wednesday for your first driver meeting. I'm going to try to stay over one night extra if my wife will let me, okay?
I want to mention to you, buddy, and to your listeners, and I'll get out of your way. We're so appreciative of what you've done to help us build our membership through the years. And as you said, long time and one of the more, I guess, I wouldn't say famous, but recognizable clubs in the state. You know, this is our 69th year of the Ocala Quarterback Club, 69th. And we're proud of that. And hopefully it'll sustain itself and we'll keep right on going. We even met through the COVID year. It was tough, but we did it. We were able to get that thing taken care of. Anyway, 69 years. We're looking forward to another great year, and hopefully we'll get some of the listeners to come and visit with us and see what we have to offer.
And Franz was 4 years old when he went to his first one. I know that. So, Mike, thanks so much, man. I sure appreciate it.
Oh, buddy, thank you. I really appreciate the invitation. Always good visiting with you guys. Look forward to seeing both of you real soon.
Thank you very much. The great Mike McGinnis. Mike, I'm going to show picture of you in the land of giants here next week. It's an unbelievable picture.
Yeah, so many people have commented that wasn't real, and it's as real as it can be.
Incredible picture. I'm going to show it on here next week. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right. See you.
All right, Franz, I want to get to the press conference. You were there today. And, Billy said a lot. Give us your take on it, his demeanor. He seems to think that this team has got talent. And it's down to execution. I'll let you tell it. You go.
Well, here's the thing I took away from it, buddy. He talked about the fact that it's the most experienced team he's had. They're very focused. They're a bonded team, and I like hearing that. That there is and Graham Mertz reemphasized that when he came and spoke afterward and said, it is really an all for one and one for all mentality, and that you got the guys at the top are reaching back to help pull up the guys behind them, and those guys are pulling them up. And there's a camaraderie with this ball club. This is one of the things that it takes really special coaching with the portal, because you take 20 high school kids and then you throw in another 10 or 15 from the portal. That's 35 new faces, and you're probably going to have that every single year. So it takes a coach that really knows what he's doing to get that camaraderie. I did not see that with FSU Saturday. FSU brings all these guys in from the portal, and I did not see a cohesive team out there. I saw guys, quarterback coming off the field looking like, he'd lost his puppy, guys yelling at each other on the field, etc. It's not a bonded team. And I was really surprised by that. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys integrated on the field during the games. Billy sounds very confident. He sounds confident without being exuberant. If that makes sense, buddy.
Yeah.
You listen to him talk, and there's no hesitation in his voice. There's no change in pitch, anything like that. No change at all to his facial demeanor. Now, either he's a really great actor, which, who knows, maybe that is the case, or, which I think is more likely the case, he's a guy that is comfortable in his own skin and comfortable with the skin that is his team. I think he's really comfortable with these guys. I think he believes in them, and I know they believe in him.
All right, you know what a bot is, I know.
Yeah.
Shane didn't really know what it is. I kind of know what it is. But I was thinking about this today. The data that we get coming in from all these teams. And by the way, every team, every underdog covered this past weekend. Okay? So the bots didn't get it right. The metrics that we get, I put value in those, whatever. But sometimes good old common sense and knowledge and wisdom counts for something. So when the bots look at Miami, they come up looking like one team. And let's be honest, we don't know that much about them except what the players they got. And, the Cam Ward was highly regarded quarterback. And as you point out, he's never been in an environment like this before.
No.
And then you look at the team, you think, how did Miami, based on the 7-6 record, by the way, they lost to Rutgers in a pinstripe bowl, okay?
Yeah.
How in the world did Miami become so valued? And to me, it undervalues other teams. You think those guys in Vegas know what they're talking about? Franz, I flat think they got this line wrong.
Well, I think they have it right a lot of the time. I think people misunderstand one thing. The job of the Vegas books is to get an equal amount of money going one way or the other, as close to it as they can, because that way, if they've got a line at 2 and Florida, say, wins it by 1, okay, they've got to cover their butts. They're in this business to make money. But it's amazing how often they get it right and how close they get it right. 2.5, I'm not worried about 2.5. I'd be worried if they had it a touchdown. 2.5 means that they think it's pretty much a pick 'em game. And I can deal with that. I think as Billy mentioned today, because he was asked a question, I think by Edgar Thompson, about the communication through the helmets, and you saw guys, doing this with their helmets Saturday in Dublin because the noise level was intense. And you look at that stadium, how it holds the noise in, the way the roof is shaped and everything, it just kind of sends it right back down to the field. And you had to see all guys like this. And Billy just kind of grinned. And he says, I hope our fans show up and make it very, very hard for Cam Ward to hear the communication. And I think everybody's looking forward to that, to seeing just how intense the noise level can be as far as affecting the quarterback and their communication.
I have a picture in my mind of Cam Ward. Remember the old megaphones cheerleaders used to use? I guess they did. Him holding a megaphone up to his ear. What? It's hard for it to, and especially since they know that. Francis, as usual, you've had a great week. My condolences to your family for the difficult times they've had with their health, and you too, Franz, fighting through some issues. And you are Dan Jenkins' favorite character this week. And the last 2 weeks, you had to fight through all these things, my man, coming through. You had a wonderful column today. It was world class, and you wrote it at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know because I just wrote you a note at 4 o'clock this morning saying, Franz, if you don't have a column, let me know. Bing, there it was right there. So great.
Well, let me throw one last thing before I go.
Mm-hmm.
For folks who look at this, this is how I'm miffed by how Mario Cristobal, who I think is a good football coach, but how he's viewed and how Billy is viewed. Billy's 11-14 with having played 12 ranked teams. Mario is 12-13 at Miami, having played 6. Now, same amount of games, one more win by Mario, but he's considered a great coach when it blows my mind. And I think that people are going to be changing their tune about Billy Napier this year, particularly if they can get to 8 or 9 wins. I think that's going to be the case.
A virtual compendium of information in the column today. I encourage you, if you're not a member of Gatorbait, for no other reason, join just to read Francis' column. He's the best around. Thank you, Francis.
Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one. All the best to you tomorrow. Be in touch. All right. The great Franz Beard checking in with us and carrying the mail once again. All right, folks, I'm going to close out the night by telling you about my friends at Renstar Medical Research. It's like a big family. I talk about them all the time because I love the people. I love what they do, what they represent. And, of course, the 2 owners of the company, Mary Brantley and Joe Sorrentino, have been friends since they were in high school in Fort Lauderdale. They started this company. Mary, of course, married to the great Scott Brantley. And Joe Sorrentino's son, Joey, played for the Gators under Urban Meyer. So we're a big, happy Gator family there. But they are very good professional people, and they want you to know the data they gather from doing these clinical trials determines how prescriptions are written and how medications come to us. They love to get local or regional DNA, send it off to these biomedical companies, and find out how we can tailor make things for us that we need. So it's very important. If you think you might be interested, look at redstar.net, find out how you can join up and do a clinical trial. Costs you nothing, and you get paid for it, in fact, time and travel. And you might even be getting some special investigational medicine that you only can get through them. So check it out. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Great show tonight, folks. Great time. Hallelujah. College football season is here.